If you'd like to try a fun creative drawing exercise or possibly learn how to doodle for beginners, today I will be sharing a very simple drawing practice that combines Zentangle and Mindful Mandalas together to de-stress. For this simple 5-minute mindful art activity, all you need is your journal and a pen. And if you're just now joining us, today is day 18 of our 30-day art challenge. If you'd like to follow along, you can download the free calendar below. Let's get started. For this creative drawing exercise, I do recommend making some circles as containers to create your mandalas and Zentangles. You can also just do this directly in your journal, but I find that the circle helps give us a smaller container and space to work in. So today's prompt is scribble it out in day 18 of our 30-day art challenge, and that's what we'll be doing as we start each creative drawing here. So as you can see, I'm using lines, but I'm scribbling in between the smaller sections of those lines. And I'm choosing to make this a pattern. So Zentangles often involve patterns. We're exploring a looser, more minimalistic form of Zentangles. But here you can see I am repeating the pattern all the way through that mandala circular shape. Now, I chose to have a straight line with a small scribble. Your initial line might look different, and so therefore your pattern would look different as well. So that's part of the beauty of doing this as a playful drawing practice. In this next circle here, you can see I began with a very quick gesture and scribble. This is something that I am not thinking about. It's quickly just getting something on the page, and then that is sort of the foundation for you to then choose and see if there's any additional marks that you want to embellish. This is a really great practice. If you're feeling stuck, if you're not sure what kind of marks to make, you can do this to begin. I have this in another creative drawing exercise warm-up video. If you haven't seen that, you can check this out here. And what I'm doing now is I began embellishing the shapes, and then I decided how could I make this into some form of a pattern. We're going to come back to this one. I have some interesting things to show you. We'll come back to the second circle. For this last one, I made a very quick scribble again. Instead of working vertically, I worked horizontally, and I just have the one initially. So you can see for today's art practice, I feel particularly drawn to straight lines as well as these organic shapes and scribbles. So those are the two patterns I'm choosing to emphasize in each of the circles. But for you, it might be different. So I encourage you, as you make your first or second scribble, to just take a moment and notice what are some of the visual patterning that you see that you can duplicate, so you can really make this your own practice. And this is something you can do daily or whenever you come to your mindful art journal. You can always do this simple creative drawing exercise for 5 minutes before you start making anything else. And it's a great way to warm up and to discover some new intuitive mark making techniques to then incorporate into some of your other drawings or in your mindful art journal. So I'm returning back to the second one. I wanted to spend some time filling in the entire circle or entire mandala here. So I'm first going through and just repeating some of the patterns and shapes. And what I want to mention about this that I really love, specifically about mindful art activities, is that by having some of these creative limitations, so we're working within a circle, we're starting with a scribble prompt, we're then choosing how to find patterns within that. Those creative limitations, as I like to call them, offer us a structure so we can then start to create and turn our brain off a little bit. So what I started to experience here, and what you may notice as well in your art journaling, is this slowing down started to happen. I started to just get lost in some of the lines. I knew I wanted to fill the entire circle. And then I started playing with how could I emphasize some of those lines by making some darker marks. So I'd be curious, I'd love to hear in the comments section below if you notice the slowing down as well in your practice. Here's the final 3, and it's a really fun, simple, creative drawing exercise.